before men in such a way that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. I've been on a Dominican journey for about 9 years now. I went to a Dominican high school and then Dominican University. It was really exciting to hear about the Dominicans in high school. I was very intrigued by the obstacles that some very famous Dominicans, which we'll hear about later, endured, and obstacles that they overcame when they were trying to stand up for what they thought was right. It inspired me, myself, to find out what's going on in the world and find ways to do something about it. But when I was just in high school, I didn't quite know what to do about my new knowledge. So, I became involved with the youth group at my parish, and also at the ministry center at my high school. I was looking for more and more ways to express my faith and hear about other young people's faith. I didn't really have any methods to use developing my faith and my interest in the Dominicans to serve God. Yet. I was really stoked to hear about the Dominican High School Preaching Conference. During this conference, you really get introduced to who the Dominicans are and what they did, what they do. So during this conference, I want to share a little story with you about what happened. We spent a week together doing so many things that at the end of the night, we would all go back to our rooms and we were exhausted. One night, a bunch of us girls were in one room, all talking about what we had just experienced throughout the day, learning about the Dominicans and the lifestyle and the charism. That night, one girl was in the middle of the room, and she was crying. And we were kind of all huddled around, trying to comfort her. And it was hard to hear her, but she was just so moved by what we had just learned. She was so inspired and so touched by what those famous Dominicans endured and what they did. She had such reverence for Mary, for St. Dominic, that it just overtook her body and she was just crying. And it was tears of happiness. And the rest of us, it just kind of had a ripple effect throughout the room. We were all comforting her and we were kind of crying too because we were so moved by her being moved. It was just, it was incredible. That experience will never leave my mind. I can't forget it. And it really inspired me to continue to move forward on my journey. It was amazing to hear a room full of people my age praising God together. The room was full of people on fire for God and on fire for the Dominicans. We brought back what we learned from the conference to our high school. One thing I did after the conference was I preached at a liturgy in front of the whole school. This was a really big deal for me because that was like the first time that I talked in public. This experience brought me closer to God, and it truly felt like a match. The match that ignited the fireworks inside of me. I honestly felt so at home being in a Dominican community. That is why I decided to attend here, Dominican University. During college, I began to adapt the Dominican way of thinking into my own life. It really was feeling right. It was like I found a guide to live by. I had purpose. There was meaning to my life and my decision-making. I was actually thinking about what role I would play in the future for bringing about the kingdom of God with my own calling or vocation. Things were finally coming together and starting to make sense. I felt like exciting things were coming my way, and more ways to express my faith would reveal themselves to me. As you can tell, going to Dominican was the best decision I've ever made. Dominican was the vehicle that led me on the journey that I would continue. Here is where I met my advisor, Sister Melissa. Some people know her. Another Sister Melissa. We started to talk about what classes I would take, what my interests are, what I wanted to do with my life, even when I was just a little baby freshman. And she really encouraged me to go with these interests, helping me find ways to be involved, helping me get into the ministry center, helping me figure out what service to do, the projects to take on. And thanks to her, I figured out what I wanted to do and what I wanted to be. And I also met the campus minister here at the time, which was Sarah. And Sarah also encouraged me in the right direction. All these people really affected me at this point in my life. And they were also there for me during a very difficult time. I was finally finding my true passion, helping people. My heart was bursting with happiness. And I got a great opportunity to go to the College Preaching in Action Conference. Sarah invited me to it, and I immediately said yes. At the College Preaching Conference, even more so did I learn about the Dominicans and all about this lifestyle that I was starting to adapt into my own life. I found more and more ways after that to express my faith and the tools to do important things. For example, after the Preaching in Action Conference, me and my friends gathered together that I had met there to begin DYA USA, Dominican Young Adults. We participated in an international level, the Dominican Youth Movement. That means all the young Dominican groups around the world, and there's lots of them, accepted the United States into the movement. It's so incredible to be part of something national and international that's much bigger than ourselves. The things that I did during college helped me to realize that I wanted to do these amazing things with the Dominican family for my entire life. So I continued to grow in my faith and strengthen my relationship with God. My lifestyle, including my relationships, were all changing for the better. Even when things were going wrong in my family or in my circle of friends, I was able to find positive ways to get through it. I had some amazing opportunities to go on service trips and learn about social justice. Learning about the Dominican charism and the 4 pillars were life-changing for me. The things that the Dominicans did in the past and continue to do to make the world better inspire me to work hard and tackle new challenges. I found my passion for helping others and studying sociology and ministry here at Dominican. And I found out how important my relationships are and how I can see God in all others. I found what I've been searching for, and I decided to become a Dominican associate. I was able to commit to the Dominican order, and by doing this, I realized that my life was heading in the right direction. I'm going to pursue my job for the state as a caseworker for social services and finish my master's in ministry to work in a parish.